friends. Here's hello YouTube friends. Not Norma, her name's not Norma any longer, it's hello YouTube friends. Hi darling. She's well, she's very well. So it's Sunday morning, Sunday the, oh, I've moved my calendar, I don't know what the date is, 5th, something like that. Let's have a look. Sunday the 6th of October. And as many of you will know, I'm waiting for news of my daughter having my first grandchild, and so I'm a little bit on edge. And so this is all about busy work to keep my mind occupied while we wait for news. No news, it's all good, everything's fine at the moment, absolutely fine. So I thought it's a long time since I just turned the camera on and chatted, and so that's what I thought I would do. I was going to take the camera round the lake and sit on the bench, but if I did that I would need an umbrella and waterproofs and Wellington boots because it's pouring with rain today. It's not a great day to be outside, so I've got lots of indoor things to do. So I thought I'd just switch this on and have a chat. Because as I say, it's a long time since I did that. And there's plenty to chat about. First of all, I wanted to talk about the schedule that I'm posting to. Oh, not your bottom in the camera, please. Come on. One more for the blooper reel. So first of all, I was going to talk to you about the schedule that I post to here on YouTube. Because I've fallen into a way of of posting, come on, out of the way, on a Monday evening my time, Greenwich Mean Time, and is it British Summer Time? Yeah, the clocks haven't gone back yet. So I post at 7 o'clock my time on a Monday, and because I knew that I might be busy, the second week of October or so, I made a few little videos that you've seen the first one of, which was Sewing for Baby. It's a little series I've made. So part 2 of Sewing for Baby will be up on the channel tomorrow. And so this is just a complete bonus video because I haven't sat and chatted to you like this in the longest time without having a project on the go. Now, I'm working at projects, of course I am. See if I can turn you around so that we don't have bottom in camera. She just upstages me every single time, doesn't she? Yes, she does. They're all in today because it's so wet, and I gave them all a really nice big breakfast this morning. Because Norma's so old now and a little bit skinny, I've been buying her extra special food and nice treats. And then I thought, well, why don't the others deserve it too? So they've all been getting nice food and nice treats, and they're all really enjoying it. So, but I do need you to decide where you're going to settle. Come on, are you going to sit on my knee? Well, you snooze, you lose, Norma. I'm just going to have to wait for everyone to settle down. So, a couple of minutes settling the cats down. Norma actually asked to go outside, even though it's a wet day, that's fine. And Rita's settled down in a box right next to me here. Good. Instead of on top of all the sewing that I'm doing. Okay, so what am I doing? I've got a few things to talk to you about today. So I'll chat on and do this busy work. What I'm doing this morning then, I don't need to do this, but I had this idea this morning that I would sew some hexagons together and make a blue and green hexagon thing. Now, I love sewing with hexagons. I've many times I've done this English paper piecing with hexagons. And so I've got this cool machine called a Sizzix machine, which some of you may know about, with these cutters. So this one here, if you can see the indents on that, that makes the very accurate size paper template that I need. So I've cut hundreds of those out. They're in this little box here. So I've got loads of paper templates. I cut them out of old children's books. Oops, a daisy. Sorry, didn't mean to move you there. I cut them out of old children's books with nice thick pages. Not nice books, just ones that were going to landfill. From when I used to work in a charity shop sorting the children's books, I would bring home all the really, really badly damaged ones to use the paper for other things. So there's that cutter then, and then this one with this size, you can see the size on that one there, cuts out a very accurate template for sewing these hexagons onto the papers. So this is how that works. Okay, so how cool is that? So the papers and the fabric. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit and sew fabric onto papers this morning and talk to you guys. I've got everything I need right here. Okay then, so it's October. It's definitely autumn now. We've got all that mist and mellow fruitfulness going on. It's, as I say, it's raining, but the berries are dripping off the trees, elderberries, all the rowans, all of those things are all dripping off the trees beautifully. And soon the leaves will start turning. They have a little, and we'll be into full-blown autumn, which will be amazing. Okay then, so I'm just going to sew these onto here and chat to you. You know what I'm doing. I've done this before. So the next Sewing for Baby series is coming up tomorrow. I won't give you a spoiler and tell you what it is. But what I will say is that I've made about 3 of them, maybe 4. Yes. And they're going to be ready to schedule for Monday evenings. So they're not, spontaneous content. They're pre-made content, which is what made me want to do this today, because I haven't done this in ages. Just turn the camera on and witter onto you. That's all I'm going to do, so be aware of that. So, but there are a few things that I did want to talk to you about, though, and it's really to do with how the channel's going, and a little bit about Patreon, and a bit about the shop. So it's going to be that kind of an updatey chat today. So the channel's going great. I'm really, really happy to have you all along for whatever it is I'm doing here. There's that one. Here we are. I've got a little bowl here with the ones that I've already made in. And they're all going to be blues and greens because I've got a lot of those sorts of colours. I'm not a big fan of pink for girls and blue for boys. It's like colour, whatever colour you like. So yeah, the channel, I'm just chuffed to bits with how the channel's going. I try really hard not to get obsessed with numbers, but the numbers are growing at a really lovely steady pace, and that's absolutely marvellous. Now, when you do this YouTube thing like I do, you can go into the analytics, the sort of dashboard, is that what it's called? The back shop, I call it, of YouTube, and find out all sorts of interesting facts about how your channel's doing. And so I don't do it that often, but occasionally I'll go into the those kinds of pages and see what's going on. And what always startles me, amazes me, is that the number of people who watch the channel who aren't subscribed. And now that's fine, that's up to you, your choice. But if you wanted to subscribe to the channel, it's a simple matter of clicking the subscribe button, ringing that notification bell, and then you'll never miss when I post anything at all. It doesn't cost you anything, and it does help me because YouTube sort of pay more attention to channels that have engagement. And so subscribing, liking, commenting, all of those things, thumbs upping, all help the channel to grow in a lovely, natural, organic way. So, a lot of channels I watch, and I've got some lovely people whose channels I enjoy very much, and they always remind their viewers to like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell, all of that. And I never do that. And so I'm thinking, unless it's going to really annoy me and you, I'm going to start doing it a bit more. So I'm going to say just that, subscribe. It would be great for me. It would be nice for you not to miss the content if you like it. And that would be fantastic. Thank you. Oh, I've got a knot in it now. Oh, it's very near that knot, so I'll cut that off and call it that knot. There we go. Okay, so what I'm trying to get into the way of then is regular scheduled posts. And so, yeah, that's Monday evenings at about 7. There'll always be a reason why I can't do that sometimes, but, you know, if whatever is happening with my family, but I will try to stick to that. Okay, so what else is on? I have a list. What else is on my list? Well, the next thing that's on my list is Patreon. And when Rita, my son's lovely girlfriend, and I launched Patreon in January this year, excuse me, I didn't really have much hopes of it, you know, doing very much other than, you know, a few people who were interested, wanting to join Patreon in order to get a bit of extra content and a bit of extra engagement. I was amazed to find that over the months this has grown and grown now, and I've got a fantastic Patreon family over there on the Patreon page. All the links are always in the description box below. Now, I've created some Patreon-only content. It's been a bit hit and miss throughout the summer because of stuff that was happening personally here. But just as I'm resolving to post to the channel on Mondays, I resolved to post to Patreon on Thursdays in the same way. And so, as such, there are over 200 unique Patreon-only posts, a lot of videos, a lot of chats over on Patreon. And so if what you are is someone who likes The Last Homely House, then The Last Homely House Patreon page might be something that you'd want to think about doing. Now, I have some plans for future videos for Patreon. There's some big plans coming up for Christmas that my daughter-in-law Anna and I are working on. And yeah, so we'll be making announcements about that a bit nearer the time. But I've also got some content for patrons for Christmas as well. So I'm hoping that I can get all of those lot pulled off. So go and have a look around Patreon, see what you like. What I love about it is how friendly people are. And so we have people interacting with one another over on Patreon, which I think is absolutely lovely. They're a really lovely bunch. And the deal about it is that you can leave, join, go up the tiers, down the tiers, do anything you want, whatever suits you. And I would say only ever think about it if it's something that you feel like you can afford to do. I would never, ever expect anyone to join Patreon. This is not a hard sell or anything like that. So the schedule then, I think I've just mentioned that. I've got my little list over to my side here, is that YouTube Mondays, Patreon Thursdays is what I'm aiming to do, and then any other extra bits and pieces like this one, which I'll just pop in as and when I feel like it. Okay then, so the shop, I want to talk about the shop next. In the shop, which again there's always a link to in the description below, there are the little books that I write, and I've written a number of books which are about the things that are going on around and about me here. I've written them over the years. The first one that I printed was all about Norma. And it's called Kate's Cat Norma. And then there are some other books as well, which are about Sadie and how she impacted on my life here for that summer that she had the kittens, about the goose, about this place, some stories about things that I've done. There are 7 in all, and you can buy them singly or you can buy them in a bundle and get them at a cheaper price. Now, I have printed one more, and I'll tell you about that in a couple of weeks' time, because that one's not in the shop. I'll tell you about it. That's a bit of a secret spoiler alert there. But what's also in the shop at the moment is there's a lot of greetings cards, which are all about the things that are going on here and the my life here. And there's some lavender bags still. What else is in the shop? There's the quilt commission. I've just finished the quilt commission for October and handed it over to the person who commissioned it just a couple of days ago. So I could show you pictures of that quilt if I'd taken any, but I haven't. So if the person who's got that quilt is watching, if you could send me a few pictures of it here and there, I know you were going to take some pictures of it in different places. I would love to see them, and I'll put them on the channel when and if I get those. Thank you. So bits and pieces in the shop, not as much as I'd like in the shop, because for me, I've been concentrating on making videos, getting the Christmas stuff ready, so I haven't really had much time to make stuff for the shop. However, I made these the other day. I made, I think there are 20 of these, all different colours. And what are these? These are secret surprise balls with haberdashery items in them. There are 20, only 20, and I think there only ever will be 20. And I'm going to list them after I've finished this video and edited it and it's posting. I'm going to post these in the shop. And the reason why I'm hesitating about them is that I haven't decided on how much the postage should be, because they're a weird shape. And so I'll have to weigh them and work out the postage and so on. And I also haven't decided how much they are yet. But they're secret surprise balls. I made some of these way back. I can't even remember when. And they're layer after layer after layer of different colourful crepe paper. And it's a bit like a little present with lots of littles, and all the items in here are haberdashery items. So I'm not going to tell you what's in there, but it's all to do with sewing. Okay, so they're going to go in the shop. If I show you them now, I'll have to post them, won't I? Yes, I will. So the shop then, there will be another item going in the shop at the end of October, which will be my Christmas Christmas box. I'm making a Christmas box, but also I'm working at the moment with the printers in my little local town in Hexham, and we're making the calendar. So we're putting the 2020 calendar together. If any of you got last year's calendar, you'll know that it's all pictures of things around and about here, and things I like to make and do, and local places, all of that. Well, this year's calendar is no different. And it's got 11 pages completely finished and ready to go. But when I was proofreading it with Charles at the printers, there was one page that neither of us liked. So I'm going to redo that page, and I need to make one page. I think it doesn't matter what month it was, but I think it was May that we ditched, and we have to think of another May. So what I was going to say is, if you like the idea of the calendar, then what kind of things would you like to see on the May page? You can leave a comment below. I will read them all, and if there's a suggestion that works for me, I'll make a page about that, and we'll put that up. It's a very collaborative affair, this calendar. So the calendar then, I was wondering about how many copies to print, I'm going to somehow come up with some way of pre-ordering the calendar. That'll be how I'll do it. I'll do it as a pre-order, and then I'll know approximately how many copies to print. So I'll put that in the description box below as well, the link to that. So there is another topic I want to cover here on this random little chat this morning while I'm busy sewing hexes. You guys are really, really lovely, kind, generous people. And sometimes people's generosity extends to actually wanting to send things to me, which I never ask for, I would never look for, ever. However, sometimes there's a little bit of a problem with that. I do leave my PO box number in the description box below, but sometimes I do run into problems. Now, this is not the first time. This has happened a few times. I can't cash a cheque from the US. It's not possible for me to take that to my bank and have them cash it. They simply can't happen. So the last time this happened, I sent the cheque back to the person explaining this. But if you did want to do that, then what I've done because of this problem is I've created a PayPal me button, which will also be in the description box below. Now, please don't see this as a means of me wanting you to give me money. It really isn't. A good way to support me if you want to, and also means that you get something back in return, is to join Patreon. And so with the Patreon channel there are various rewards. I mean, the first couple of tiers are just for fantastic thank yous. But then after that, as the reward tiers go up, there are actually tangible rewards that people can get. And that feels like a fair exchange to me. If you want to pledge some money to me, then I'll give you something back in return. And that feels better than me just receiving money or things. So many beautiful things people have sent me, things that handmade things and so on, and I just feel a little bit undeserving, first of all, and a bit overwhelmed really by the lovely, gorgeous generosity of people. So think about looking at Patreon if that's something that you want to do, and go that little extra. You know, as I said to you, you can join, leave, do whatever you like. I don't mind. It never ever bothers me what people do with that Patreon thing. Never. So think very carefully then about sending me things, because I really, please don't send stuff. It's so expensive, the postage. And then every now and then someone will send me something, beautiful something, but I have to pay duty on it, and you don't know that, but they won't actually release it to me until I pay the duty. And so sometimes your gift is beautifully well intentioned and well meant, but it actually costs me quite a lot of money to get it delivered to me, and you know, that would be something that you would never know about. It happens more often than you would think. So here is this is my breakfast and lunch here, and I made a little bit of film about me making this, which I'll put in here, so you can see that what's in here is the leaves are watercress, spinach, and then there's courgettes, celery, cucumber. That's all the vegetables. Some of those are from the garden and some of them aren't. And then the extras that go in are, there's a few chia seeds, sunflower seeds and cashew nuts, a little bit of almond butter, that goes in there as well. And then the water is coconut water and almond milk. And just to make it nice and thick and creamy, I put in half an avocado, and to just take the tiny bit of sweetness, I put half of a mejul date in there as well. And I whiz all of that up in the NutriBullet, and then I add quite a lot of ice, and I've got my glass straw that enables me to stir it round and make sure that Everything in it is completely delicious. Now I make one of these every day. Sometimes I put the lid on it and put it in the fridge and just get it out a bit later, but usually it's just there beside me and I just sip away at it. And yes, it's nice and healthy, but you know, it's more to do with laziness because it's good and nutritious, but sometimes I can't be bothered to cook. I can't be bothered. So I don't. I just drink one of those every day. I make a meal in the evening sometimes, but I just can't be, sometimes I can't be bothered. And so I know that I'm getting all the nutrients I need when I'm drinking that. And it actually tastes completely delicious. Really, really, really good. So I've talked about all sorts there, and I've made loads of these while I've been talking. They're here in this container, look. And they're all going to be all the blues and greens and into yellow a little bit and slightly into purples, so that they're a nice rainbow of those colours. And I'll make a little cover for this child that I'm waiting for. So I hope you enjoy. Tomorrow there will be an episode of Sewing for Baby, which will be up in the evening. That'll be good. And then, as I say, there's a few more of those coming that I'm still editing, but will be on the channel soon. So on this October day, October the 6th, at 11:45 in the morning, I will send you all very warm wishes, lots of love. Thank you so much for all the support and effort that you put forth for me here. So like, thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to receive notifications of when I'm here at the Last Homely House, and pop over to the shop and Patreon and register your interest in the calendar if you want to pre-order the calendar. I think that's a big long shopping list of all the things I wanted to talk to you about today, and all the cats have settled down now, which is very, very good news. Okay guys, so that's me chat. I'm done. So a few more of these. Take care. Bye now.